Okay, fine. Have you upgraded your wardrobe? Designer jeans?
No, not at all. It's still very much shopping. It's all. Well, as we were talking about, I do all my shopping pretty much online because I think it's it's a lot more efficient than having to go into the store.
So what you're saying is you have not made a major lifestyle change.
No, it's odd because I still think that you can still catch me online at 3 a.m., 3:30 a.m. You can still catch pretty much the entire office. Still rolls in at about noon, 1 p.m. And it's just most of the people are still working very much, which took me by surprise. Most of us are pretty much doing the same things and working the same hours. And I just think until the work commitment drops a little bit, until we can hire the team out a little bit more, it's just going to continue to be done this way, just because there's so many things that need to be finished on a week-to-week basis.
Will there be a YouTube jet?
We can probably ride in the Google jet.
Oh, well, not so bad. And here is a corollary to that, separate question. I love this. Have people that wouldn't talk to you or give you the time of day when you were a geek tried to talk to you now, particularly girls?
It's with yes.
Okay. Now we're going to get a little more serious. As and this is in quotes, a 1.5 so-called immigrant generations, which means came to the USA with your parents when you were very young. And I should point out, Steve became a U.S. citizen when you were...
We went through the 7th grade, I think.
7th grade. We couldn't figure out the exact year,
Yeah.
but anyway. What's the advice you can offer the younger generation in terms of how to adjust themselves? I assume this is younger Asian generation. How to adjust themselves into the new culture as an Asian in an American country?
Well, I think a lot of the same things that I had to go through. Again, talking back about dropping out, moving out from sort of Illinois to the Bay Area, the toughest people that I had, the toughest opposition, both came from my parents, and I think that it's really, I would have never gone to PayPal if I just completely listened to what they asked me to do, and I could have.
Because they wanted you to.
Well, stay in school.
Okay, right, there's that, yeah.
But same thing with YouTube. I would just, are you crazy about thinking about leaving and paying for this on your own credit card? And it's, I think a lot of that stuff. I hate to sort of encourage every kid to not listen to their parents, but at the same time, I think sort of take it with a grain of salt and sort of looking at the other circumstances around and sort of formulate your own decisions. And I think now, and sort of in hindsight, and talking to my parents, they're pleased. But
I bet. Let's do another YouTube one, and then we'll wrap it up. How are the rankings conducted? Is the question. Do you monitor or ban certain videos? Well, we know people can flag them. Any viewer can flag a video, right, and say
Right.
disturbing content. But how many people actually monitor them for the rankings and also for content?
No, actually, as part of the DMCA within the U.S., we're not allowed to proactively monitor any of this content. So everything on the site is actually sort of using some kind of machine algorithm to determine both the recommendations, the search engines. The recommendations is, I think, something that's very interesting, in which there are multiple ways to do it, but what we found that was most useful, the most effective way of doing recommendations, was doing something where instead of trying to recommend based on or tie together videos based on just keywords and tags and titles and descriptions, what we ended up doing was looking at all the videos that person 1 viewed, all the videos that person 2 viewed, and if they're watching very similar videos, recommending each other, the same videos they didn't watch. It was really based on what the users are actually watching, and so you get out of the sort of similar the same content, because I think if you're matching always based on or recommendations based on tags and titles, you're always stuck within car videos, or always stuck in certain types of videos. But once you start getting beyond it, I think it tries to define what interesting videos mean, and it's something that we found out as we started launching this. People started spending a lot more time on the site because they were watching just a lot of interesting content that they themselves wouldn't have found the time to search for. But again, back to everything that we do on the site in terms of like the top rated, the top viewed videos of the day, week, month, it's all sort of generated by looking at analyzing the database.
So when I go on YouTube and click on something, that number, that goes into a database, and that helps determine what gets into the most watched videos
Right.
chart.
Right.
And you know everything I'm watching when I'm watching it?
No, we don't keep around. We don't tie together the user and the video. I mean, all we keep track of is that there's one person that's watching these videos, and these videos have some kind of relationship between them because one person. Well, it depends on how long you watch a video. If you stop the video within 5 seconds, then it's sort of a negative vote. But I mean, it's. We do keep track of everything that everybody watches, but it's not tied to the actual user account.
Finally, let me just wrap it up. Since we're in this group, is there anything about values, about your background as a Chinese American, that contributed to any of this? Is there, can you take some strength from what your parents gave you? Is there something about your background that has somehow led to any of this, or that you can go to now?
I don't think I can ever, 100% correlate something with the specific background. I mean, I think, especially from the growing up from the Asian influence side, I don't think I can ever pinpoint something. But I do think that having gone through the exact experience that I went through of, one, growing up originally in Taiwan and then moving to the U.S. and then going to a boarding school and all these different things, I think definitely contributed to it. And I do think a valuable part of it was sort of being exposed to both sides of being able to go to school and having that sort of developing more free entrepreneurial spirit, but then also being at home and within the sort of Eastern influences and working with the family. And so I think they ended up merging together to form the inspiration that drove us to this point.
And just, I think we didn't mention this before, we were talking about it earlier, I think everybody would be interested to know, what language did you grow up speaking at home?
Yeah, it's funny because I always feel embarrassed to say that I did grow up speaking Mandarin, but I mean, I don't know how many people actually, their second language is better than their first language, but it's, I mean, these days, I even with my parents, it's very little Mandarin, and most of everything else is in English.
But you eat Chinese food, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Steve Chen, thank you very much. I think we could probably sit here forever.
Thank you.
Thank you.